this Star Wars film was so amazing it scared my beard off. It's coming back, don't worry. It was just for a part. But we did see Solo, as the person who gave him his name said it. Just that I always love that in movies when they do that. It's like, well, we have to call you something, Han Solo. There's a lot of that in this movie.
They should just call it Solo, a Star Wars something that exists. That was pretty much my entire feeling. I'm like, this exists.
Oh, come on, this was the first... I'm excited because this was the first Star Wars film I wasn't excited to see. I had like no thought going into... I try to take it back. Attack of the Clones, I legit did not want to see. But
honestly, if I remember right, I don't think I had any thoughts one way or another going into Rogue One.
I was pretty curious about Rogue One.
I was just hoping it would be good, and I liked that movie better than I did this.
I think I like that better too, because that obviously had issues, but kind of got better and better. Mm-hmm. This is kind of reverse for me. I actually thought I started off okay. I like kind of the World War I stuff, and I like when he has a purpose and he's trying to get back somewhere and stuff like that, and then just kind of gets duller and duller and duller.
Oh, see, I had the opposite problem. I thought it peaked somewhere in the middle, and the second half overall I probably found better, but the first part was like
with them throwing all that stuff in there. I mean, constantly
the first part
now we have to worry about this. Now we have to do this thing. Now we have to do that, and I'm just like
the first part just almost from the start. Something about this movie just annoyed me. I don't
just something irked you. It didn't annoy me. I mean, the callbacks.
No. I'll say this. I didn't hate it.
No.
I can't bring myself to say I hate it. That would have probably required more emotional investment to actually hate it. It's just like death by 1,000 paper cuts. I was just mildly annoyed the whole way through. It didn't help, like, full disclosure, I'm like under the weather today and I've had like a low-grade migraine all day, so I don't think that was helping. But I feel like even if I was like, not just like, I still probably would have been like,
So this movie, when we saw it, it had some people, applauding and cheering when certain people showed up, and at the end there was an applause too. I feel like, as a generic action Star Wars film, it's fine.
Can we we're talking about applauding. Can we be honest here and say, like, 2 of those applauses were just the obligatory, the movie started and ended applauses? Mm-hmm. Like, literally, the first applause in this movie was, it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And it was
no, my favorite.
When the movie ended, there was some people like, yay! Like,
no, my favorite is that one guy. There's always one guy who's always trying to start the applause, and sometimes, and then there's one where it just didn't work at all. That's when the Millennium Falcon popped in. Guys like. He kind of shut up, and because everyone's like, no, we're done. We're just done.
No, like the only other applause.
Of course, we're gonna see the Millennium Falcon.
The only other applause I remember is when the Millennium Falcon showed up, and a few people did applaud. And
I thought maybe I'll think of another one. There was one where somebody tried to applaud, and then just nobody did. It just okay.
No, that was somewhere else. The Falcon got an actual applause, but I turned to my wife and I said, this is kind of telling when the only legit applause we've had has been for the ship.
Mm.
Like, and that's the only loud applause I remember that wasn't the beginning and ending of the film. Like, Infinity, I think of the other Star Wars films, I think of Spider-Man or Infinity War or a lot of Marvel movies. Like, if there's an applause, like, you get a few of them. This one was definitely just like, it was just the Falcon. The Falcon shows up and he's like, yeah! And then that was kind of it. And then like, at the end, like, but we knew that was the end of the film anyway, so people were applauding. Like, so it's
there was a very confused applause near the end. We'll definitely go into. We'll have a lot for spoilers.
Oh my god!
But there was very
wait. What? How?
Huh?
Really?
Anyone that's seen the movie already knows. I can't wait to hear the internet talk about this. This is one of the few times where I'm actually like, okay, I want to see what the internet is saying about this character that.
To quote Alexander Knox from Tim Burton's Batman, I can't wait to hear the explanation for this one.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah, well, so
This is gonna be great, guys.
Well, we'll get to that. So my big thing with this movie is that
there's no big thing in it. That's part of it.
No, okay. So you got the dude playing Han Solo. I from the trailers, he didn't seem that interesting to me. I actually thought he did a pretty good job. There's a lot of times where I thought he really captured Harrison Ford very well.
He's a two-face. Like 50% of the time, I think it's like kind of creepy. I'm just like, wow, that really is like Han Solo there. And the other 50% of the time, I'm like, what are you doing? It's like a guy. It's like one of those like. It's like somebody doing an accent in a movie, only they don't quite nail it. So there are times where you're just like, wow, nailed it. And then the next sentence you're like, wait, what? Like, and he was kind of like that. Like, I really bought him in some scenes, and other times I'm just like, I don't know who I'm looking at now.
I thought it was pretty solid, especially with the script he's given. This is not a very well.
No, this is not a good script at all.
There's weird lines. Like there's a scene where like Woody Harrelson is shooting the gun, the Millennium Falcon, and the gun gets blasted away. And he goes, oh, and they're really in trouble. He's like, I lost the cannon and I hurt my thumbs. It's like. Like, they're really trying to make this a suspenseful scene. It's like, that's just a dumb line.
There's like
a couple just...
His love interest is it's like smiling. Like, I always smile like we come to something smiles.
No, and there's another scene.
And I'm like, what the hell? Like, who wrote this? Like,
there's a scene
and then
near
at the end, then at the end credits, I see it's like, not one Kasdan, but two Kasdans, and I'm like... Wow, it finally happened. They wrote a bad Star Wars movie.
Well, and
because I don't care what you say about Force Awakens, that was still a better script than this.
Yeah, that had like some good lines and everything. I mean, it had some clever stuff. No, and then there's a scene at the end where she's like, "I know what you really are." At first, I'm waiting for scoundrel. I did, and she doesn't say that to their credit, but she's like, "A good guy." He's like, "Well, no, I'm not a good guy." And I'm thinking to myself, when was this even a debate in this? It'd be cool if that was like a thing in the movie, but it really wasn't.
There's no
meat to Han. There's no meat to that character in this movie. Which it's cool to see him.
We love Han Solo as a character. That's the problem.
I want to see him as a smuggler. I want to see him as a bad guy. I want to see him do some dirty, nasty ass, stuff to people and backstab, and then maybe find the redemption.
Movie, maybe that's what they're going to do with the sequel that they're obviously trying to set up. But honestly, I have never been this disappointed in Han probably since like Jedi, when he suddenly becomes like, wah, wah. Hey, it's me. Because he was badass in Episode 4. He gets frozen in carbonite in Empire, and he's still badass there. And then somewhere in Jedi, George Lucas took over again, and now he's breaking sticks and he's screwing up everywhere, and he's just
I didn't know that. I didn't know you had such Han hate for him in Jedi.
I don't hate him in Jedi, but it definitely took a character that was cool, and then he's getting all felt up by Ewoks, and it's like, what happened to Han
trying
Solo?
to push him away. I don't know. I thought it was fine in Jedi.
It's holding on. That's great.
Yeah, so it's like him.
But this is what it feels like. I'm just they did it again. I'm like, this should be him at his badass.
Like his most badass.
There should be some badassery, and instead it's just assery.
And so you got but the actor I thought was good. I liked Donald Glover as Lando.
Okay.
We really
he was the best damn thing in the movie.
Yeah, and he should have
been just a Lando movie. Why didn't they do?
Yeah,
what do I need to know about Han Solo? We've had 1, 2, 3.
Obviously not much.
4. Yeah, 4 films now with Han Solo. If there's a character I ever wanted to know more about, it's Lando, because they show up on Cloud City. He's like, I got some problems of my own here, and I'm like, I sold you out to the Empire, and it's like, now I'm gonna help you, and now I'm gonna help both. Will you get going, you pirate? And it's fine, but I'm just like, I would like to know more about this guy, because we had less time with him.
So those two, and I'll give credit, I actually like Chewie. I mean, I guess I never disliked Chewbacca, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know. I really dug him in this movie. I kind of dug him.
No, he was cool. Well, we'll get into that in spoiler call.
Yeah, but
Chewie pusses out in the end, in my opinion. I'm what happened to our big bad Wookiee?
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. And then, the robot, the droid...
L3.
I thought was okay. It does bring up a good point of that I never thought about before. It's like, what is the... like the freedom or the civil rights or whatever of droids. Like I never really thought about that. It's kind of a legit point to bring up.
If you're into the like, because I was
we don't serve your kind there. No. Also, they should like be making shit.
No,
aren't they like saints?
It started there. But if you read like the extended universe or even like, you know, play some of the games back in the day, even in the 90s they were talking about that was like a thing that the Empire has like or the Hutts or the Syndicates or whatever are all into droid abuse. Like so this has always been some sort of like theme within Star Wars that their second classes. I know there's probably going to be people freaking out and keep your politics out of my... That's been there since the beginning.
No, but I never thought about it. It's just one of those things where I'm like, well, wait, that is a good... Like, are they just... Is it just like a computer that turns on a light or something? Or is it like, yeah, because some of these things have AI in it. It's like, I never thought about how it worked in this universe because, you know, there's people with British accents and Southern accents in a galaxy far, far away. I don't know how the shit this works. It's fantasy. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're right. That is something that's kind of technically always been there, whether it was intentional or not.
When I played X-Wing on the PC, they had like this instruction manual that came with it. It was like, the Empire's many crimes. And one of them was like droid abuse. And I'm like, okay. Like...
But yeah,
so she's got this whole thing. What'd you say? Bot lives matter.
Yeah, bot lives matter.
I kept on to go #MeTooD2. Yeah, she's all into like the liberation of the bots.
Which I mean,
I don't know. I thought she was one of the better characters in it because she had a frickin' personality.
Yeah. But like I said, so it's like I like and some of the cool things. Like I said, I like seeing. Surprisingly, I like seeing how some of the stuff. I like seeing how he met Chewie. I like seeing him make the Kessel Run. I like seeing how they did it because it is something.
Kessel
Run it went on way too long.
Sucked.
But I like how it actually shows how he did it, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If they want to show you how they did it, then how about this? How about you fucking show us something?
No, okay, not leading up to the Kessel Run. Actually, when he got out of the Kessel Run, that's what I liked.
Yeah, okay, getting out was fine, but the Kessel Run itself.
Yeah, if you like looking at smoke.
Yeah, if you like looking at a lot of smoke, there's your Kessel Run. It is like this whole movie, I'm sorry, like, can we finally just say that Ron Howard is not a great director? Like,
it's done a few great things.
It's getting to a point, though, where I'm like, I don't care if he did Frost Nixon or Apollo 13, like, it's really bugging me now whenever I sit through another bland-ass Ron Howard film.
Rob, I care. Sorry, it's Star Wars movie Ron Howard again, but then
it just
no. This seemed like kind of like
this
generic,
is like one of the this is one of the blandest looking, if not the blandest looking Star Wars movie ever made.
I'll give credit.
Hands
to one
down, the blandest Star Wars thing I've ever seen.
I'm
not saying the prequels are good. But they looked nice. More interesting than this.
It didn't look like Star Wars, but it looked nice.
And that pisses me, like, that may be the only thing in this movie, like I said, I didn't hate it, but that may be the one thing that legitimately pisses me the hell off.
I'll give a little credit.
That you waste a universe like that.
No, I'll give credit to the cinematography, because I feel like these designs are not good. These are very bland, boring, smoky, hard to see, just gray designs. But a lot of the times, I thought the mountains were shot nice. I thought, like, okay, so, like, that Kessel Run thing, it's just the smoke circle. It's like nothing. But when you see, like, the Imperial ship coming through, the way that's shot, the way it's framed, I thought it looked pretty cool.
No, the cinematography has, like, 30-40% really great shots of, like, mountain stuff, but it's nothing that we haven't seen 1,000 times before. They all look like Lord of the Rings shots. Here's the same mountains again, here's some more mountains, but I'd say 60% of the cinematography in this film is terrible.
No, because
it's not good, and the action choreography is bad. It's incomprehensible.
No, there's times where you have to go, like, when he sees Lando, and that's dark brown, again, we've seen that all over, but for that scene, that's the kind of shots that you want.
And there's like two great shots there, and then some of the cutaways are just odd and weird.
No, I think there's also great callbacks to, a lot of classic cinema, like classic westerns. What's the Tony Curtis movie where he's chained to the other guy and stuff. Like, there's definitely callbacks to that. I think there's a lot of stuff going on that is kind of
They're not
similar.
really good callbacks.
I thought they weren't. I thought the World War I callbacks I thought were really, really cool. I think there's a lot of stuff in here that actually worked and was shot.
Fog.
It's more. You can put Mud and Fog is in a lot of Star Wars films, but we could tell this was World War I. That's what they were going for.
So?
No, but I'm saying that's good cinematography.
You could tell that in Empire Strikes Back. It was still shot better.
Yeah, but that was because it was shot well. That's why I'm saying.
This wasn't shot well.
I disagree. I think it's designed poorly. I do think it's designed very.
There are some shots that are good, but
like when they go to that
they
go to the big bad guy, the big bad gangster who at first was kind of cool, and then he gets dull by the end. But it's like it's like that casino again from the last Star Wars film, Last Jedi. It's like we just saw this damn place. It was boring there, and it's boring now. You know, where you just go up there and there's black and white and yellow and people serving drink and that. Well, just boring and touches an outfit, yeah.
Vision's not a very it's Vision's like the villain, I guess. Like from Infinity War.
The story keeps changing.
He's not an interesting. Put some tiger stripes on his face. There we go.
At first, I thought like, okay, this guy might be cool, and then again, they don't really do anything with him. He just kind of becomes. And okay, again, we won't give anything too much away, but because the spoiler corners for a lot of it, it's not really spoiling much because
you can predict what's gonna happen from the
they tell you what's gonna happen.
Like,
don't trust that person. Guess what? You weren't supposed to trust that person. You know you shouldn't trust me. Guess what? You weren't supposed to trust him. You know, there's a lot of double crossers and triple cross. Guess what? That person's gonna double cross. That person's gonna triple cross, and it's like
I called it.
Spell it all out for you.
I called it from the beginning,
so,
and they try to throw in a red herring just to make you forget. But no, I called it from the beginning. Everything you think is going to happen happens.
But okay, so
when Chewie shows up, it's just like they make it mysterious. Like, what's this going to be? I'm like, it's Chewie.
Yeah.
Like every single scene is like that. It is so predictable, and there's something to say about this. Rogue One, yeah. Well, I wonder if they're ever going to get the Death Star plans. Like, there's no suspense. We had no idea who was really going to live or die, though. This, I'm just like, there is a certain boredom that sets in for some of these scenes, because, like, my wife turns to me, she's like, you think Chewie's going to make it? Like, and I'm like, I completely agree with her. I'm just like, yeah, there's no suspense. Because we know Chewie, Han, and Lando at least have to make it, and that's three of your more interesting characters.
And a lot of times they're together with the other characters on the ship or in a situation, so it's like, well, okay.
Just instantly, like the second they pop up, who's not gonna make it? It's
well, and the side characters are not that interesting. Again, with the exception of the robot. But yeah, none of the side characters.
That
really
Rio character played by Jon Favreau.
Yeah, I was actually kind of. I mean, okay, we shouldn't give it away, but I was like, yeah,
he was annoying me. He was annoying me. Like,
yeah, no, he was me too.
There's just something about it. I was like, this voice is not coming out of this creature.
Well,
something does not match. It's like Sean Connery in Dragonheart, where I'm like, something doesn't seem right about this.
Well, if they could make him fight, a lot of these lines aren't that funny either. No. I mean, that's what's kind of weird. Like, you think there'd be, Disney's been doing really good with, like, Marvel and Star Wars and stuff and having this good comedy.
Maybe two Kasdans aren't
better than one.
Well, and then there's all the production problems, like, the Lego movie team was supposed to be behind this, and then they got canned. And I start to wonder, I'm like, what scenes were theirs? Were the actual scenes that made me laugh theirs? Or were some of the scenes I didn't like theirs? Or was it that all I know is this is bland, and that to me is Ron Howard.
Here's the biggest problem to me. My number one problem with this movie, and why I don't think it's interesting, why I don't think Han is interesting. They start out from the very beginning, setting him up. He's from, like, this poor neighborhood, he's a scrounger and stuff like that. And he's trying to get out. And again, without giving away too much, he gets out, but he wants to come back. There's a reason he wants to come back, and it's years later, and he wants to come back. Why do you want to go back there? I want to go back there for this reason. He keeps talking about this reason. Like, at the end of the first act, the reason comes to him. And it's like, oh, I'll give credit.
And if you're smart right there, you know how this movie's
but it's just... But it's like, okay, I'll give credit, I didn't see that coming, but now what? That seemed to be like your big emotional arc, and the movie's like, well, now we gotta do this thing. Okay, they're gonna do this thing. Well, okay, that's done. Now what? Well, now we gotta do that thing. Well, okay, and at some point I was saying, why should I give a shit that he's doing all this?
It's bizarre,
no
because it's trying to be an origin story, and yet it has no origin story for its character.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, maybe we should have started off with him as a legit kid. Like some frickin' street rat. Instead, he's already looks like he's 25.
Like if this was a Fast and Furious movie just with Han Solo in a Star Wars universe,
probably would have liked it better.
Totally cool with that. I want to see him steal shit. I want to see him rob people. I want to see him punch people. I want to see him smooth talk his way out of stuff. I want to see him talk to Jabba. There was no Jabba in this movie. That's like the one cameo I wanted to see.
Meet me on Tatooine. I know a gangster.
Yeah. But no, that's like the one thing I really wanted to see. I wanted to see him talk to Jabba. I wanted to see him get in these situations and like smooth talk his way out of it. I want to see him be a scoundrel.
The Crimson Dawn.
No,
the Crimson Dawn.
No, and it's like no. Well, now we stole that. Well, now there's these other people that are going through shit that now we have to fight for them, and now these people are now there's this big rebellion, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, there's energy here and there's action, and some of it's done well, but I'm like, why am I not caring? And I realize there's no emotional arc to him.
There's no emotional arc, and then random things like, oh, he's gonna, I mean, we all know this, it's in the trailer, he's gonna make a bet with Lando and play a card game, and they're all like, Han, I don't think you should do this. I got this, trust me. As if we're supposed to know something. Like, about, like, Han's not good at gambling, or, no, it's okay, Han's secretly good at gambling. We have seen no scenes with him gambling. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
There is, like, nothing in that scene that works, except for the fact that we know eventually what's gonna happen. But I'm just like, well, so what are we supposed to take out of this? Because she's nervous, Beckett's just like, I don't know, and Lando's, I'm just like, we don't know what exactly his baseline is. We've never seen him gamble. Had they had one scene earlier, or maybe if his first scene was him losing badly at a gambling game, or being a gambling shark, or doing something like in his first scene, like maybe then I'd be like, okay, like now we know that they have a right to be nervous, or maybe they don't need to be nervous, but it just, they play it up like we're supposed to know something, and we don't know jack shit. We know nothing about this guy except what the frickin' long time ago in a galaxy far, far away font told us. So instead of doing the opening crawl now they just have the blue text do it.
Well, it's just gonna change like in every movie. Every Star Wars story, they're gonna have something different.
I don't know. It's just kind of that's another little thing like that. It's not a movie record, but I'm like, why don't you just keep the damn crawl then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this one I was kind of wondering that too. It's like, well, okay, it would have been short, but I mean, it's like you're still using text to set up everything.
Like I played plenty of Star Wars games. And nobody, like, it was very simple. They would just call it by the title. Like, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Star Wars TIE Fighters, any of the missions, Star Wars Imperial Pursuit, whatever. You didn't have to put the episode title. The idea was the episode titles are the big movies, and then these others are side stories. It's like, no, we can't confuse them. And we need the big, like, Solo logo to, like, flash in a hologram over the sights of Corellia, like, and I'm just like, and that was another thing, that it just didn't feel like, the whole movie didn't feel, strangely enough, like a Star Wars movie to me. Rogue One did. Whether you like Rogue One or not, I'm like, I feel like that's the universe. But the opening of this, I felt like, if you didn't have the hover cars, I'm just like, this feels almost like Baby Driver or something. It's like some punk kid driving around in a car trying to get away from something with all these kind of 70s mood lighting and
see again, I was okay with that. I was okay with kind of the dark, gritty, dirty, because again, you're kind of setting him up, and then he goes into war, and it looks like war, and it feels like war, and I kind of like that. I'm like, okay, I like this background. I like how he meets Chewie, and I like the direction it was going. But as soon as the reason he wanted to get back to that planet comes to him, I'm just like, well, now why do I care about this dude? And even the connection between him and the reason is not that good. I mean, there is not much of a connection.
My only thing is it finally started at least turning into some sort of Han Solo-ish heist movie or something. Like,
But even then, it's like, well, now we gotta go with this heist. Now we gotta go with this heist. And it's like, the heist, half the time, I can't even follow, or when I do, I just don't care because I'm like, why am I following this?
The movie didn't turn on to me until they got to that damn ship casino. Now, I'd say the casino just because I'm like, okay, at least well, where they meet Vision or whatever, the Crimson Dawn guy or like
yeah, at least there's a little bit of setting up I felt like heist movie. Yeah,
I checked my watch. That was like 45 minutes into this movie. And I'm just like, wow, 45 minutes, I feel like the movie finally kind of switched on here. And then, yes, the Lando scenes, like, were hands down the best in his really weird relationship with his robot. I won't judge. But We're learning things about robots in the Star Wars universe that must have slipped past Disney censors, because I'm just like, wow!
But with all that said, there's stuff in this movie I thought was kind of fun. Anytime he does kind of act like a smuggler, like when he's in war and he's sneaking in, like, yeah, so how'd you get there? It's like, it's like, we're gonna shoot you. It's like, no, I have a better idea. If you sneak me out, I can get you this, and I can get you in there, like, take him away and stuff. He's like, don't leave without me, don't leave without. And it's like these little scenes like that I like, and like I said, the connection with Lando are cool. Anytime it felt like a smuggler movie, when they're playing poker and stuff like that, the shots are kind of like an old western or a film noir or something like that. Like, that shit is cool. The who's gonna get out the gun first, they're trying to play up the who do you trust, but they do it so terribly, because you know exactly who not to trust.
I knew it from the start.
Yeah,
no, like there are moments, and as I said, I don't hate it.
Some of the action is cool. I'll give it some credit, but a lot of it goes on way too long.
Some of the action is cool, but so much of it, it's just like, it is just some of the most piss poor action filming it is like bland. We're gonna shake the camera around. Somebody throws a punch. Another jump cut to somewhere. Like it. I'm just like, really, like, this is a Star Wars movie, and like it's just this kind of bland ass like action. Like it. I don't know.
I'll say this. I didn't think it was that bad, but I was getting bored of it. Like, a lot of the action scenes, I was kind of getting tired of it. Like, this is going way too long. And if it was really good, I shouldn't be bored.
How do you get bored with an action scene in a Star Wars movie? A good Star Wars movie. You shouldn't.
No, even... that should be credit. Even the prequels, the lightsaber fights were cool, and some of the space battles were cool. I was like, I don't like
pod racing went a little long.
Yes, that's true. But, yeah, no, a lot of the action, to their credit, I thought was pretty good in the prequels.
I think the only location that felt like a Star Wars location to me was Kessel. I'm just like, okay, I feel like I'm in a Star Wars movie again here.
Is that where
the
Orlando
aliens?
is?
No, Kessel's.
I thought Orlando felt pretty.
Yeah, the exterior was just, here's some more mountains.
No, but I mean the inside. Fine. Again, that's like the cantina and Jabba's palace and
okay,
stuff.
That was fine. But I mean a bigger location. That was a small scene, like the Spice Mines. That was the only part where I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm in a Star Wars. Everything else, like the opening on Corellia, I'm just like, so you just found some steel mill to shoot at. And I know it sounds weird because we complain about CGI and stuff, but...
Actually, that's another thing. I like how much is actually in this movie. There's a lot of stuff that's really there, and or at the very least, it looks at that robot looks like it's really there.
There's a middle ground. George Lucas shot in Tunisia. They built the sets for Bespin, and it's just, I really feel like, I'm just watching Grand Theft Auto, like, the first 10 minutes of this movie, I'm like, this is just some steel mill in LA, like, right up against the water. I'm like, none of this looks like Star Wars. I mean, they try to make it look like Star Wars is like, ooh, they're building a Star Destroyer in the background, they're lifting, like, up the shields, and I'm like, no, and that's the other thing, the special effects in this are really hit and miss. There are some scenes, like, when the Falcon crash lands, like, on that one planet, I'm just like, wow, that is really fakey. And there's scenes where, like,
Solo's... It didn't bother me that bad.
Solo's
I thought the effects were pretty good.
No, there
when you could see them. Again, there's a lot of shadows, a lot of dark, and again, I think that's a problem with it, too, is that so much of the shadows and everything, do just start to blend together. It's like, I wonder if they're going to go to a dark brown place. He's a dark brown place.
That first Solo... car chase at the very beginning, it almost looks like one of those YouTube videos where they're inserting Star Wars things into like a cityscape, some of these special effects real, like
I thought most of the effects were
there was one shot in particular where like a stormtrooper gets on a speeder or something, and it was so fake. I was just like,
that's true. It was clearly CG'd,
and I'm just like, really? Like, money was thrown at this? Like, this is pretty piss poor, guys.
That didn't bother me too much.
I don't know. This looks and feels like a film that was in production hell. That's all I can say. And I'll give it credit.
Especially with all the various stories. Now you have to do this. Now you have to do this side quest. Now you have to do it. Now this person's on this side. Now this person's on this. It's like... But there's, it forgot to throw in why we're supposed to care.
He has no chemistry with the love interest.
No.
And Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher did have chemistry. Now we know why.
The only chemistry he really has in this movie, again, is with Chewie.
I felt... I
totally
felt him
bought
Chewie. And I felt Lando and his robot.
Yeah.
I don't know why they chose to do that, but, you know.
They don't do much.
Credit to Donald Glover, because he gave it his all. He's like, you will believe that a man can fall in love with his robot.
There was a little bit with him and Lando, but again, I felt like that could have been super solid if they spent more time with it. If it was a Lando movie.
I got the fact that they're like frenemies, and I thought that really worked. I wanted more of them. Like second, like, you know, like any scene with Lando was
good. There's a fair amount, but he is.
This could have just been him and Lando and Chewie, and I would have been fine.
I would have really liked if that was the movie. The side characters, they're not awful. They just don't. They didn't grab me at all. Like in the least.
Honestly, I don't like the music either. Like, it just was seriously, they just copied and pasted, like, the best of Star Wars hits.
I kind of feel like the dude was seeing if he could get a snippet from every Star Wars movie in there.
Well, it just felt, you know what it feels like when you're playing, like, those old Star Wars CD-ROM games and they just
throw in
loop parts of the score, like, randomly. It was just like that. It's like they're in an asteroid field. Well, we're going to play the asteroid belt thing from Empire. It's like, oh, there's a Star Destroyer. Well, we're going to play the Death Star theme for some reason. I'm like, I don't know. It just is like da 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 da, and I was like, well, why didn't you play the Imperial March?
Oh no, because that's the recruitment music now. Remember?
Yeah, that was
a little
weird.
advertisement
That
for
was so weird.
the Empire, and they played the Empire theme,
March,
and I was just like,
join the Empire today.
I'm just thinking, so is that just playing on the Death Star radio all the time? Did they just play that music?
I really just wanted like Darth Vader to be like, would you like to know more? Like Starship Troopers.
Well, like when you see at cons, the Empire needs you. Kind of thing.
No, it just, I don't know. It didn't feel much like the whole visual style, everything about it just felt strangely divorced from Star Wars. I'm like, I feel like I'm in someone else's universe.
I don't know if I can go quite that
And Rogue One, I didn't feel, and I know like Rogue One's another one that was like Last Jedi or all these other recent ones where it's just like some people it's like hit and miss, but like I think even if you don't like Rogue One, like it still feels like it's in the Star Wars universe. I didn't get that out of this. I really didn't, and it's weird.
Again, with
a couple scenes I did, but
with the first bit, what I was liking about it, the angle I was enjoying, was that it was doing what Rogue One was doing, where it really feels like you're someone walking through this universe, even though you know a lot of this has to be
Rogue
CG.
One did it
you're
better.
walking through. No, they did better, but I liked when they were doing it, and like I said, I liked some of the callbacks to classic war, classic movies, and Star Wars and stuff like that. But yeah, somewhere, like I said, I think as soon as the reason for him to be doing anything suddenly comes to him, and it's like. That to me is where the movie starts to kind of
I'll tell you what
slip.
it is. I felt like time and again, and that war scene bothered me too, because it's like, oh, is that callback to World War I? First off, why? Why do we need that? Second, it was yet in a series of many excuses this film had to not show us something. Like, it's like, well, we can't afford a giant planetscape. It's like, fog. Mud. There. Now we just have to CGI a couple of ships in the background. We're good. You don't need to see anything. I felt like they kept having... What are we going to do? Mountains. What are we going to do? More mountains. Here. A beach.
No, I like that because I feel like...
Again and again, just felt like they were coming up with excuses not to show us a big exotic locale. Like they didn't have the budget or something.
I like him going to war. Well, first of all, I like the fact his character goes to war. Something about that feels right, and then he becomes a smile. Like he's got to see, the tough. He's got to see the real grueling stuff, and he'll just kind of go wherever he can to, get what he's looking for.
I'm not saying he can't go to war. I'm
no,
just saying
and I feel like to kind of recreate
anything.
that World War I atmosphere, especially with the Empire taking over and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. That felt right somehow because I think of the dogfights that they have in the other Star Wars movies. There's already kind of a World War I feel to it, but we never see him like kind of, with the exception of Empire Strikes Back, we never really see him like in the trenches. And even then, that was kind of the winter trenches that they had with Hoth. So I like the idea that they kind of went that angle. Like I don't know. It felt right to me. That kind of felt like that would fit in the Star Wars universe.
I don't know. And even when they took off, like you still didn't see anything. It's like you see some laser blast through the clouds, and I'm just like, they really don't want to show us anything.
It is weird. No, you brought up. You said every time the Millennium Falcon, which it is nice to see it like clean and nice. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
But like you're right. They never show them like taking off. Like that should be a big thing. It's like there it goes. The jets go off.
He hops on
it rising, turns, and it takes off. And it's just like when it takes off, it's just already in the air.
Yeah, no, they literally literally Woody Harrelson's like, you better buckle up, kid, and Han just like sits down. Next thing you know, we're like like literally in the sky, like bro. Like there's no scene of it taking off or like, oh, this is a big moment. And there's multiple moments like that where it's just like, I would have milked that for all it's worth.
Like, I feel like the stuff that...
Because it's the first time he's in this thing. Yeah, you should kind of have that feeling. You don't need to go batshit with it. The only time I had it is when he went into hyperspace.
Rob, they have to milk other things, like Chewie playing chess. Or Han Solo saying, Chewbacca, that's long. I'm going to have to give you a nickname. It's like, we don't need that. But here's the thing. Stuff like him playing cards with... Lando and seeing how he does make it out of the Kessel Run and some of these other scenes, like, I think do work. So I mean, with me, I'm
Lando's
kind of Lando's
whole character. It's I mean, and let's be honest, this is a caricature, like a spoof of Lando almost.
He was almost trying to Johnny Depp a couple times.
But it kind of
works because British.
You're just like by the time you get to Lando and Empire, you feel like, oh, he's got responsibilities and this and that. When you look at him here, it's just like, yeah, I could kind of see him being that full of himself, like, because he's like
anyone
younger
who
here.
Wears a cape like that. I mean, like, I feel
that's my favorite scene where he's got like a collection of capes.
Yeah, and he kind of does like a blog, telling the stories and everything. I'm like, no, because
Lando Calrissian Chronicles.
No, because I'm with you. At first, I was like, well, that's a little weird, and then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, this makes sense. Like that, this really does fit. So yeah, I'm middle of the road. I like kind of the first third, the first half more than the second half.
I liked the middle part and the second half best, with the first 45 minutes just being like, oh my god, like it's...
Yeah, I'm like the total opposite. I liked it when it was darker and grittier.
Which is what I thought overall of Rogue One, but I thought Rogue One was a much better movie than this. And even if you don't like Rogue One, I think it was better shot than this. I think it took more risks than this. I think you couldn't predict where it was going quite as much because they were completely original characters for the most part. I thought it was a more colorful movie. I thought the action was better on every single level. Rogue One is better than this movie.
The one thing you nailed that I think is really true is that you say it's not taking any risks. It's a very safe Star Wars movie, and
that's why you got Ron Howard instead of going with the Lego guys.
Of all the characters, of all the films about a character that should take risks,
Han Solo?
Yeah, the scoundrel, the anti-hero, the guy who goes back and forth. I mean, before you know him as a lovable scoundrel. Turns out I'm a good guy
from the beginning.
No, hey, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a good guy. Yeah. Like, he has to actually say, I'm not a good guy. Like, and it's
literally the sort of script where they tell you everything. There's like no room to read into emotions. It's like literally, it's like, I'm saying you're a good guy. I'm saying I'm not a good guy. Well, you really are. Well, okay, if you think so, guess I'm gonna be a good guy eventually. Like, it's just...
I bet you'll join our rebellion. Don't count on it. Because he's my butler.
I will say this, that may be one of the only scenes, because his smile really was Harrison Ford, and that may be one of the only times where I thought it kind of worked, because I'm just like, yeah, I could see him saying that. Like, at this point, he's like, don't think so, kid. I loved his reaction, which is very much like shake his head, like, like, not happening. Like, I kind of like that, but yeah, there's a ton of scenes like that. I could see how you would not like that.
I feel like there was enough kind of cool stuff in it and stuff that I'm like, okay, I'm glad I saw that in kind of Han Solo's story, but yeah, I'm very in the middle. There's so many things that kind of don't work or are bland, and
I don't know.
It's not like awful or anything. I'm just very, very in the middle.
When I was a kid, and I mean like really like 7 or 8, like this would have been the 80s, like there was like I swear to God, there was a Han Solo book. They had a collection of like Han Solo stories. And I felt like those were kind of cooler than this. Like I literally haven't read it since the mid or late 80s, and I swear they went to Kessel. I thought too. They went to the Kessel mines. Like, I don't know if they're pulling any of it from this, but like I haven't read it in so long. Everybody will correct me but I feel like those books, which are now non-canon, I don't know if that one was ever canon anyway, but I don't know. I just felt like those somehow captured something kind of like scoundrelly about it. I don't know. It's just to me this is it exists. I don't, apart from the fact how bland it looks, I don't hate it. But it's very much just like, yeah, I saw this movie once. I don't hate it. It got a few good laughs out of me, but I'm never going to think about this movie again. I'm definitely I doubt I'm ever going to buy it. Unless I really just like want the Lando scenes or something. I don't know, I'd go like C+ as a grade if I were to...
Yeah,
I don't know. That's me. It's
middle.
It's just very. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a lot better.
Yeah. So it's honestly, it probably gave me exactly what I was expecting. The more I think about it, like going in, like I said, it was winning me over a little bit in some scenes, but I'm like, yeah, no, it's pretty much what I thought I was gonna get. So it's kind of like Star Wars fan fiction, you know. If that's your but. There's a lot of people that like that stuff. I can tell there are people that are like.
Okay, the Lando robot scenes were Star Wars.
Okay, fan fiction. No, but you know what I mean. Like,
I know. I feel like fan fiction would have taken more risks. Honestly, like maybe, fan fiction, you can get pretty batshit, and I'm just like, yeah, this literally felt like a studio product. Like I thought Rogue One had
give the fans. What we think they want.
Rogue One had a personality.
But there are fans that want to see this kind of stuff.
Rogue One had a personality. Whether you like Last Jedi or not, I don't give two shits. But it's just like, that had a personality. Like, Force Awakens, personality overall, but I could see how people want to argue it didn't. But if you think something like Force Awakens didn't have personality, it's just playing it safe, rehash, like, that's all this movie is to me.
Force Awakens at least had a mystery and a sense of humor to it.
This is a corporate product, like is safe.
It feels very
and
corporate,
conservative, and bland as you can get, and just like, well, the fans want to see this, I guess, and like, you might be taking risks. Better fire the Lego guys we hired originally and bring Ron Howard in, because that's all he does post 2000 is bland stuff.
So, yeah, there you go. we got plenty to talk about in the spoiler corner, so definitely join us there. Yeah.
As I said, I'm under the weather, so if you like the movie, great. Maybe I'm just being a grump.
I don't like Star Wars anymore. I don't like Han Solo anymore.
Hashtag not my soul. God. No, I've never... I don't know what you would have to take to basically make me like one of those Last Jedi haters, but like I don't think that's good. I love Star Wars, I still do. So that ain't happening. But maybe if you made nothing but films like this for the next 20 years, like
they might be. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if the next 8 films are exactly like this, I'll be like, I don't like Star Wars anymore. But
so
I like Star Wars,
even the prequels.
I mean, I can get through Sith. I honestly the only one I cannot possibly sit through
Attack of the Clones
is Attack of the Clones.
Me
I can
too,
actually get through Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
there's a part of me that
it
takes me back. It's strangely nostalgic. It takes me back to 1999.
Yeah.
But Attack of the Clones is the only one that I will not sit through that. Like, I get 5 minutes into
Phantom Menace at
like,
least is kind of so bad you can laugh at it. Like Attack of the Clones, it's like, oh Christ!
Attack of the Clones is garbage with some pretty special effects. That's it.
Yeah. So there you go. That is our thoughts on Solo. Got to give you a nickname.
How about Fido? Alright, here, chew on this. Wait, I got it!
Bye.